Hello everyone, it is Tuesday night, 7:15-ish p.m. You know what that means, it's time for another rousing episode of Dan D'Antoni Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Tony Casper and Dan Beebe. Dan O'Shea has the night off. Still have no idea where he is.
The 2018 college fantasy football champion.
That is correct.
Dan Beebe.
Yes,
Yep.
college football, fantasy football champion Dan Beebe. And just so our the imaginary people, whatever they might be, know, what is it that you won?
2 Big Macs from McDonald's.
Yeah.
It was one Big Mac, but I had a buy one, get one free coupon.
Okay, there you go. So you got 2 out of the deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now I'm even more upset that I lost.
But you didn't get fries.
Oh, well.
Just-
I could have shelled out for the fries after buy one, get one Big Mac.
It's just the buy one, get one Big Mac. And if you download the McDonald's app, you too can get deals such as buy one Big Mac, get one free. No, we are not sponsored. I'm just giving you guys some helpful hints.
No, we just want to make sure you get your money's worth for your Big Mac.
Absolutely. So we're going to start tonight off same way we Can I talk tonight?
I don't know, can you?
I don't know.
Sounds like you're
Same
doing all right.
way we always do, and that is with our pigskin poetry. The revenge tour is over, but they have the number one defense. Ohio State throttled them, but they have the number one defense. And they also lost to Notre Dame, but they have the number one defense. Their college football playoff hopes are done, but they have the number one defense. We have been hearing all season long that they have the number one defense. So maybe now that they've lost, we will stop hearing that they have the number one defense.
But probably not.
But probably not is literally the next line. It's written right there, but probably not. Good job, Dan Beebe, finishing off my poem. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Michigan. They have the number one defense in the country until Ohio State hangs 62 points on them. In all fairness, only 55 points of those came against their defense.
True. That's true. I mean,
Oh,
I enjoyed every second of it because it was the first time I felt all year long that Ohio State had actually played like a real complete team. Their defense was very strong, forced turnovers, made life a living hell for the offense, and the offense did what it should have done and actually showed up for the first 3 quarters rather than the last quarter. So I was extremely impressed. If you're going to play one complete game all year, it better be against those piles of trash.
absolutely. Michigan is in a state of panic right now.
I imagine that they would be.
But I am looking forward to the Utah-Michigan Rose Bowl. Because I think, and spoiler alert, one of my picks, I'm picking Utah to beat Washington. I think Utah is going to beat Washington, which means we'll get the number one defense in the country versus the number one defense in the Pac-12.
Yep.
Which is going to be fun to watch.
Well, should be. I don't know if they're still number one defense.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't looked at the rankings, but I can't imagine after that shellacking that you're really going to get any help.
No, they're probably not. Oh, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, we only have one topic, really. But we have a lot in that one topic.
Okay.
There are 10 conference championship games this weekend.
Okay, so we're going to do our picks as we break these down.
We're going to break them. We're going to break them down, and we can do our picks as we break them down, or we can save it for the end and just build some suspense.
Either way works for me. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Well, you can build the suspense.
Let's build the suspense. We're just going to talk about it, the team's resumes, what they have done, what they need to do to win the conference championship game, and then at the end we will, as we always do, make our picks. No question. I won the week this week. Tony, you came in last, even though Dan O'Shea didn't even make any picks.
Yeah, no, that's surprising. Although I went with a lot of bold picks because I was just like, to hell with it.
That's a good point. So for those of you wondering, how does that happen? How can Dan O'Shea beat Tony when Dan didn't make any picks? What we've been doing this season, if for whatever reason we missed a pick or whatever the result is at halftime, you take the losing side of it. So the team that's losing at halftime would be your pick if you didn't pick that game.
Okay.
Or in the instance of what is the the margin of victory one that we did between the Thursday games. Predict who has the largest margin of victory. I took whoever had the smallest margin of victory at the half. Whoever had the smallest lead.
Okay.
And that's how I did that for Dan. But we have time. We're going to make our picks. We're going to send them over to Dan. I already told him that we're going to be picking the conference championship game. So once he gets me his picks, which better be before the games start on Friday.
I think he can get to it.
I think so too.
I think it's not a problem, especially if we just keep harassing the chat.
Which we do.
Yeah, you got those picks? Got those picks, bro? We're on picks, bro.
It's 3 a.m. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Where's your picks? All right. So...
And if he doesn't make them by Friday, I'll text him at 3 a.m. on Saturday morning and be like, yo, gonna make your picks, bro?
Well, he'll be missing a couple of games on Friday if that's the case.
Yeah, well.
All right. So let's start the way ESPN app has the games arranged, which is really annoying because they have games starting at the same time. Like, you should have them staggered like an hour and a half. Not Texas versus Oklahoma starting at noon, and also Louisiana Appalachian State starting at noon. Like, I get in a normal time, people aren't going to want to watch Louisiana versus Appalachian State, but conference championship games are different. People like watching that.
You'd think, but I mean, it's got to be a scheduling thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a scheduling thing between the schools, the arena, the venue. It's probably decided well ahead of time before the matchups are even made, which kind of makes that even more frustrating.
Exactly. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First matchup is going to be Friday night, and it is for the MAC Football Championship between the 7-5 Northern Illinois Huskies and the 10-2 Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo, obviously the big favorite here. Mm-hmm. Spread being 5 points.
Buffalo has had a very good year this year.
3.5. They have, and it's surprising.
They've actually had a couple of good years they've strung together and are really making a name for themselves football-wise in the MAC and not getting a ton of attention for it. I mean, that being said, they are on television more than I ever remember them. And those matte black helmets are pretty freaking sweet.
Friggin' sweet, yes.
Like, to the point that, like, Chuckles graduated from UP. He wants to get one of those helmets just to keep it around as, like, decoration. I don't blame him.
They are nice. They are very nice.
I dig it.
Yeah. They also have the matte black with the dark metallic blue instead of the all black with the gray outline.
Yeah.
They're both nice.
Yeah, the metallic blue one was the one that really I thought was really cool because that buffalo on there, or the bull that's on the side of their helmet, that's pretty sweet.
Exactly. Love it. So, first, Northern Illinois. I don't want to count them out because we've seen this before. An underachieving Northern Illinois gets to a MAC championship against a team that should just absolutely throttle them, and they beat them by 21, 31 points.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know. Like, Illinois has that record, but I mean, they obviously were good enough to make the championship, and my question really comes down to, did they really lose their games by a lot, or were they losing them close? And that I would venture to guess, because I haven't followed Northern Illinois this year, but I'd be willing to bet that they probably didn't get blown out of many games.
They're losing them close. I mean, obviously, Iowa
Yeah,
playing.
I'm not talking
Iowa
about
beat them
against the powerhouse.
33-7. Utah only beat them 17-6. It's a close game.
That seems to me like it's a good defensive battle.
Florida State, even as bad as they are, which for the first time in 38 years, Florida State will not play in a bowl game.
Good. Good.
I mean, I dislike Florida State as much as the next guy, but there are things that
You just expect to happen.
just are supposed to happen.
Yeah, and Florida State typically should be there, and they don't really have the excuse that they had last year with, their quarterback going down. You had everything just fine. Your team just wasn't good.
Well, I mean, you see what really happened. DeAndre Francois gets hurt. He comes back. He's not the same player. And for those of you who
And they have a different coach, too.
Yeah, it's Charlie Strong.
Right.
Yeah, those of you who think that, what's his name? Their old coach, Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo didn't
Didn't think that he was a good coach. His system masked the offensive and defensive deficiencies that Florida State had to make them look like a competent team.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly not.
No, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that it's shown that they are not the team that everyone had thought they would be in the beginning of the season, and that, I mean, if there's anything that proves that coaching does matter and it does make a difference, that proves it right there. Because Florida State is somewhere that they haven't been in almost 4 decades, which is left out of the playoff.
Right. Exactly.
Which, not playoff, I mean,
The-
a bowl, which is not, I mean, even if it's not a great bowl, you still expect them to be there. And that just shows you that there's a lot more. You've got, if you're going to be one of these prestige teams, you're going to have to compete, because there are other teams that are chomping to get in there. Because, I mean, Buffalo's already bowl eligible. They'll be in it, win or lose.
Northern Illinois, same thing.
Win or lose, they'll be in it.
Yeah, they're probably
Somewhere.
gonna go to like the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Yeah, but yet and still, guess who's not going to be there? Florida State.
Exactly. And the bowl game is imperative, in my opinion, for schools like Northern Illinois, because that's where you see a player, sticking with Northern Illinois, like Garrett Wolf, run wild over a team that's got a winning record, and that helps your draft stock.
Well, it helps your draft. It's imperative to the players that need an increase in those draft stocks for schools like that. But it's also imperative just for the school in general. It's
every game is televised.
Exposure. It is, put in a time where people are going to pay a little bit more attention to it because it's a bowl game, and it helps your recruiting class. Not to mention, it just helps the university in general, because getting into certain bowls, win or lose, you're getting a paycheck out of it.
And because they're NCAA sanctioned events, the NCAA makes an exception to the gift and money rule, so these kids get these bags with like iPads and stuff in them.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of advantage to both sides of it to be in a bowl game. And
plus, if you go to the right bowl game, like, is it really that bad of a thing to spend New Year's Eve on like in Boca Raton?
Yeah,
as opposed to like Nebraska
or whatever PlayStation sponsors, don't they give all
Fiesta
the
Bowl.
athletes PlayStations?
Yeah.
That's
as
insane.
far as I can tell, yes.
I would imagine that they would. I mean, they're sponsoring the event. They've got these things in boxes.
And I mean, like the Hawaii Bowl, I remember they were showing like all the things the night before the two teams got together, had a pig roast.
Yeah, and they get to experience
what Hawaii's like.
You get to go to usually pretty much a prime location. I mean, there's certain other aspects that may not be, exactly where you want to travel, but some of those games you're playing in the playoffs, so you're playing for something more.
Absolutely, exactly, and it's imperative for different math groups. Apparently, it's imperative for, like I said, these schools to get that national exposure, for these players to get the exposure, because how many times have we seen a player who's projected, 5th round, 4th round, just absolutely go nuts in the bowl game, and then they're third.
Yeah. No, I see. Listen,
that's what happened with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind your argument. It's just, it is kind of shocking to think Florida State's on the out, but
they did to themselves.
It shows you that there's a lot more problems in Florida State than just losing Francois. The whole